Welcome, everybody, this week to the Damage Per Second podcast. I'm your host, Justin, Jayborino, and I'm here with my co-hosts with the co-hosts, Brett and Keith.
It's like, who the heck is Justin?
Well, I realized, I was thinking the other day, it's weird that I say Jayborino, but then I say your real names.
Yeah.
My name's Scuba Loobadoo, and this is Brett and Keith. Like, what?
To be fair, my online handle is usually some form of my own name. Kind of.
Kind
Brett. Bored.
I just go with Jayborino.
I'm just going to keep saying Jayborino. Is that okay? I mean, it's got us this far, yeah.
No. Yeah, it's fine.
I didn't know if it was weird for you guys, 96 or 7, however many episodes it's been. Finally, you're going to come back like, yeah, you're right. It's extremely awkward. I'm really glad you said something, because up until now, I've not wanted to say anything.
Maybe we can, maybe on our 100th episode, we can perform a blood ritual to legally change your name.
That sounds good.
Yes.
To Jayborino, my real name?
Yes. Yeah.
That sounds good.
I think we have to bind your soul to a demon. I'm not sure.
That sounds fantastic. That sounds actually really enjoyable and fun, so please.
I feel like that would be a sick buff.
I have two things that I want to talk/complain about this week. I'm really excited about them. But first, let us talk about what we've been doing this week. And Brett, I want you to start us out because you seemed excited earlier. You messaged us and you said you've actually been gaming this week.
Yeah, I'm a real gamer now. For once. I mean, that's hard to say, but I remembered that I still have my old Xbox One, and Monster Hunter World has, like, been looking exactly like what I've always wanted. You know, I feel like I've talked about Monster Hunter on, like, 5 different occasions. And so I decided to hook up the old Xbox One and get Monster Hunter World, and so I've been playing some of that, and it's totally amazing. It's everything you wanted in a Monster Hunter game. It's like there's no separate zones anymore. It's all one continuous world. There's just, the graphics are actually up to date. It's on a console, and you can play with a controller instead of a 3DS. All the controls make a lot of sense. It's just like amazing how archaic the older games felt to me, and now I'm finally like, oh, well, the formula seems cool, but I don't know if it's just the controls that are making this game horrible to play or what. But so it turns out that under there, it's an amazing game. It's really fun. Like just the whole cycle of it's kind of just grindy in nature. Like you want to kill the monsters. You get their parts and you build the cool weapons, and there's different upgrade paths and stronger monsters, and it just seems like an endless game, but in a way that's like, if you want to set aside an hour to just do something, you can just, fight a monster for like an hour. And it feels great.
It takes an hour to kill one monster? I've never played Monster Hunter.
I mean, I guess it
depends.
Like, there's very strong opponents, monsters, I guess. And you can choose to either capture them or kill them.
What are the biggest differences between it and the other games, other than open world?
I mean, like at its core, it's pretty much the same game. It's just everything is just smoother and works a lot better, and I feel like they've done a really good job of making everything make sense as well. They have a bad habit of just throwing a bunch of text screens at you and not really explaining what anything means, and this game is like fully voiced, and well, I shouldn't say fully voiced, but it's got a lot of voice acting. It just explains how to play the game and like what the whole point is. Because really, I never understood. I'm like, all right, so I'm just gonna jump online and like kill these monsters over and over, and like I don't understand what's going on. But they kind of just do a good job of like contextualizing what everything does, how everything benefits you, like why you should capture monsters over killing them, and all these different interesting upgrade paths, or like it's just easier to follow now. And they just have done a great job of like streamlining the series to where I think casuals can get into it, as well as the veterans are pleased as well. It seems like people are calling it like the best Monster Hunter ever made. So
how many have there?
Amazing. A lot. I mean, it's been coming out since the PlayStation 1, I think, right? So it's like I mean, the people that are into that series are extremely diehard about it. So it's impressive, especially because it's Capcom, to see that they've been able to pull this out of their ass somehow. And I think there was a lot of skeptical people too, because the way they were streamlining it, it seemed like it was going to be like too far off, you know, too easy or whatever. So
yeah. Well, I think that, like, I don't know. I mean, so I played the beta a little bit, and it felt a lot like I played the PSP version, and I'm hoping. I think I'll probably play it eventually. I'm hoping that, like, some of the open world stuff addresses, like, I guess, like, my issues were just there was some, like, repetitiveness or grindiness, and I've heard that that's been, there might still be some, but
yeah,
that's gotten a lot better. And the stuff, like, the same chasing monsters through the same exact areas, same exact, like, prefabricated areas, even in the one that I played through, and, like, loading screens in between each area, like, oh, okay,
yeah, there's none of that. They got rid of the loading screens, which was like the worst part.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that
makes it feel a lot better. Also, I mean, with the repetitiveness, I think that's kind of part of it, is just working towards certain pieces of gear. And I mean, you come across monsters that are different sizes and stuff. I think that's been a mechanic for a lot, like the whole series. So I mean, I guess that kind of makes it a little more interesting. You can break off different pieces of them as well, which is kind of interesting. Like, if you don't break their face, the first time you kill them, you might want to go and try to do it again, or because you might only be able to get certain parts of it because of that body part or whatever. But also, I mean, now in this game, I don't know if there used to be this mechanic, but now there's, like, multiple huge monsters in the worlds, and they can actually run into each other and, like, start fighting each other. And some of them obviously have, like, a clear advantage over the other ones. So one that you could be working on for like an hour just gets one hit by this, like, enormous thing. I mean, it's kind of wild.
That even happened to us in the beta.
In the beta,
that's pretty neat.
Yeah. Oh man, it's pretty exhilarating, especially because you can avoid it. You can avoid the fight if you need to because of that. It's just a pretty cool environmental, like, distraction to take advantage of. It seems like there's a lot of cool stuff like that in this game. There's, like, this ghillie. You can, like, equip a ghillie suit really quick and they won't see you or something.
So it kind of sounds to me like the way I'm envisioning it is just sort of like a WoW overworld-ish type thing where you just roam around and kill stuff, and it's very grindy, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, inherently that's not a bad thing. I actually kind of enjoy it. I kind of find grinding in general just sort of relaxing, so it actually sounds kind of neat.
Yeah, it's cool. It's less like WoW. Honestly, the combat's pretty comparable to, like, Dark Souls now. I think this new game feels quite good. They've done a really nice job of, like, giving all the weapons weight and stuff, so it's just nice that, like, it actually has good combat now too, because it was just hard to capture good combat on a 3DS. I hate to be a curmudgeon about the 3DS, but I don't know, I just feel like this game is meant for a bigger place,
3DS sucks. I don't know, man. Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking too. Isn't Monster Hunter? I thought it was a Nintendo exclusive. It's not an exclusive, but I thought it was Nintendo. Like, it was only published by Nintendo. So.
No, it's weird. I don't really even know what's going on. Probably just certain ones. They got, like, exclusive rights to the 3DS, and I think maybe. They did make the Vita ones, right? Or, like, a PSP one, but I think the 3DS ones, I would assume, is because so many people in Japan have 3DSs, and that's where the majority of the people that play Monster Hunter are. So, I don't know. Just a theory. Maybe Nintendo wanted to capitalize on that.
You do any of the online playing?
I haven't yet, because my subscription's been out. Sorry, you caught me with a Ritz right in my mouth. But, I'm looking to. I mean, I heard there's not many people on Xbox, so we'll see. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I heard there was some, like, light matchmaking issues, but hopefully it was, as simple as that, and then it'll just get improved over time.
Yeah, typically they take Monster Hunter pretty seriously, I think, so hopefully. I know that usually they add a bunch of game, a bunch of content like after the game comes out for free, like high rank hunts and stuff.
That's
like
awesome.
even higher rank, and yeah.
So
yeah,
kind
they
of
do a
like
good job.
Diablo-esque, it sounds like.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
But it's
We'd
not an
probably get into
ARPG. Is it third person or is it like
Yeah,
isometric?
it's a third-person action game,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And there's tons of different kinds of weapons, some crazy shit that you would just never even hear of in a game, like I don't know, like a gun glaive, or a bug, I don't know, there's some weird shit.
Insect glaive, right?
Insect glaive, yeah, that's what it is. I was
Insect
gonna say bug glaive. Yeah, insect glaives, they use some sort of kinsect, like liquid thing that you collect, and it just looks really cool. I don't know how to describe it. But
So I keep asking elementary questions about this game. I'm sorry. So is
No,
it only
please, that's
console
fine.
exclusive, especially the new one? That sounds like
it's
the
coming to
best.
PC soon.
Oh, okay, great.
Eventually.
Yeah, I think I will pick it up because I've only heard good things, and I think the
you
older ones
should.
have only been on
I'm gonna
consoles.
pick it up too. Oh my god, that would be so awesome to play. I have no friends to play with right now. So I don't know when it's due to come out. On PC, but I'm gonna use the power of the internet to figure it out really quick.
Ooh, it's exciting. Hey, if either of you guys get it, that could be like the thing that finally gets me to pull the trigger on that.
Don't do
I
that.
think that'd be fun. I'm gonna do it.
There's a gun violence epidemic in this country, Keith.
It says that it'll release significantly behind the console.
Nah. I mean, whatever. That's still...
We have to wait until autumn, it says, somebody said. I don't know. You know, whatever. We'll get it when we get it. That sounds like a ton of fun. It really is a blast to play that game. Like, it's pretty intense. But, yeah, I need to play more. I'm sure me saying this will mean I will never play it again. No, I actually just got on to play it before this, and then I was like, I need to eat dinner. Shit. So, did that.
Cool. Well, if a game has longevity with Brett, you can usually assume that it's pretty good, because,
Yeah,
again,
right,
like you
I know.
had pretty much just said.
About a lot of them. I know. The room situation, it threw a fluff line. I need to get back to Divinity as well. I've been playing more Street Fighter. The
I've
arcade
seen you
edition came out.
on Steam playing that, yeah.
Yeah, so the arcade edition came out, and it is good. It's just everything works a little bit better. The netcode's still kind of the same. Yeah, but it's just, you know, they added a new V trigger for every character, which is like every character's got their unique system of moves that they can activate once they've lost a certain amount of health. And so every character, new and old, has an extra one now, so I mean that kind of changes up the meta a little bit, you know, different choices. So that's been fun to explore. I don't know, that's about all there is to say. I haven't touched the arcade mode that they added, but it seems pretty cool. It seems like people like it. It's a good game. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy you found some time and motivation to start playing stuff again. Every so often I kind of go through those phases where I'm like, I have this free time, I'm so excited. I made sure to sit down and ensure that I have time to play, and then I'm like, you know what, I don't really want to play any of this.
Yeah, it's been hard to settle into this room because it's like kind of happening slowly. We're still waiting to get my wall together, so. But I was able to finally hook up my computer in here on like a pretty good level desk. You know, and I got my monitors, my TV with my Xbox. Everything's pretty I'm spacious, you know, it feels good. So
Cool.
I might as well play some games. But yeah, I don't know. What you guys been up to?
Keith, what about you? Why don't you go ahead?
I got some great news for you, Justin. And here's to the storm. A new update came out, and they're adding voice chat.
Oh, great. Nothing like hearing people get really upset at you on voice chat. Really looking forward to it.
Yep, it's gonna be really good. People insulting you in different languages. It's gonna be terrific.
Finally.
But I feel like I've played a lot in the past. I don't know however long it's been since we last did one of these, but just 2 weeks, I guess. But yeah, here's the storm. Just playing a little bit of that with you. I've been having a lot of fun with that. I don't know. I'm like interested in like learning some new characters, and I was looking at I was looking at like Greymane and some of these characters because I feel like I always get my ass kicked by him. And then of course, literally today, I was like researching him. I was gonna play him next time I hopped in if he was available to me. And then of course, they I think they nerfed him. At least made major changes to him. And their comments are something like, "Oh, he's like feast or famine." So I don't know. Maybe I only notice him when he's annihilating me, but so I don't know. I don't know if it's like the best balance, but I always have a good time when I play it. Like it's never quite as the stakes don't seem as high as they do in Dota or something like that.
Yeah, that's why I think that's why I like it. I don't know. It's relaxing.
Yeah. It's easy to play sort of casually. And Brett mentioned like, you know, Monster Hunter is a good thing to like hop in and just play a little bit. And I think that's really interesting because most open world games aren't like that at all. I feel like, I mean, a little bit. You know, Zelda, you could go in and do a temple, I guess, but you know, these RPGs generally they're pretty deep. So I don't know that I if like you guys got it or something, I might be interested in playing. I don't know. I'll have to keep thinking about it. I know Jen's brother's really into it, so it might be fun. And then other stuff I've been playing is I started Nier. I'm enjoying that so far. And I started. What else did I start? I started. We finished Mario. That was really good. It like felt like it would last forever, and then it didn't.
Finish how?
Like it would last forever, and then it was over. So, yeah, I don't know.
Keep going and try to get all the moons.
We got 500, so
cool.
I got to the secret. You know, we got to the secret level or whatever, and beat that, which was difficult, but it felt really good to beat it. And then I didn't, but we're not gonna get all of them. I guess we could, but it just seems like insane. I'm sure you get something, but I don't know what. So yeah, we probably won't do that, but we miss it. We wish that we had more. And let's see. Yeah, and then other than that, just like playing Monster Hunter World Beta. We played Overwatch quite a bit. There's some, your standard, events are going on for that. But yeah, I don't know. I've been playing a lot of stuff. Nier's really good so far. I don't know. Like the story seems pretty cool, and I'm not even very far into it, honestly. But I'm already enjoying the story, and combat's pretty fun. It's a little strange. Like it took a little getting used to. It's like, okay, well, I got to hold down L2 to lock on, and then R2 to move fast, and then I have to hold down R1 to do the gun, and then press square and triangle to attack. So
it's kind of like a chore.
It feels a little unwieldy at first, but I've gotten a lot better at it, I think. And feels more natural after a while. It's definitely pretty interesting though, and I don't quite understand all the plug-in chips and different I don't know what weapons to get. They don't really tell you. They tell you some stats, but not very much. So that I'm not, super sure on. Yeah, but I'm getting it. Slowly learning that kind of thing. So I don't know. All in all, been playing a lot of games.
That's exciting. As I say, you guys are playing a lot of stuff. I have not. I don't think I have, at least. I've been playing. We played some Heroes of the Storm this week, Keith, and again, every time I play it, I come on here, I'm like, oh yeah, it's so fun. Like, I think this game is great. I need to play more of it, and then I don't know what it is. I just don't ever really follow up, and I feel like I definitely should. But it's one of those games where it's really cool, and then you kind of put it down, and then it's easy to just sort of lose track of. So
yeah, for some reason it's really easy to put down, and just not pick it up again right away. But
which is a really good thing. It's a really good thing to be able to put it down like that. But at the same time, like, it's not good for the game. It's good for the player though, which is why I really appreciate it. But and you're talking about kind of like the hero strategies and stuff, and one thing I've kind of learned, I mean, this was the same with Dota and most MOBAs or anything hero-based. It's sort of like anytime you're playing against a certain hero and it just feels like you're getting your ass kicked, you have to try that hero so you can kind of understand their weaknesses. Because a lot of the times that, like, I remember when we played Dota and we were really low level and we were playing and I just thought like, man, like, what's up with Huskar? He seems like way too good. He's crazy. And then you play him and then you realize how easy it is to get killed. So it's like a big part of those kind of games is like, oh, okay, well, I have to play this first before I can realistically figure out what to do to counter it when I play against them. I think that makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dota makes it really easy to jump into any other MOBA.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're starting with like the hardest, the hardest one first, but
yeah.
I'm sure they have some sort of matchmaking that goes into it that, you know, puts you against people who you should be playing against. But yeah, it's just sort of funny. Like you end up with people who have clearly played more than you, but you just sort of walk in and you're just kind of like, yeah, okay, I kind of get this person. I guess I'm actually doing awesome already. Like, so it's not always the case. There's some deeper characters. They're just characters that sort of seem bad, but it's hard to tell. But yeah, you do get a one-sided impression of it if you're just getting like killed by a character and then you're like, Jesus, like, man, I gotta play as Grey Main, and then you realize like, oh geez, like it is a feast or famine character or something like that. And then you realize, okay, so if I'm not annihilating with this guy, then I'm just gonna eat shit all game.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, a lot of those are like super spirally heroes, so I don't know. It's just an interesting way to approach that. But that's like, here's the story. I think there are some though. Blizzard seems to be pretty quick at patching, but I remember like Garrosh was like banned every game, and I haven't seen that really happening anymore.
I haven't seen Garrosh.
In general, yeah. So they must have nerfed him. I think Kael'thas was really strong when they released him. I've got I have a theory though that they basically make the heroes really, really strong when they get released, just so that people play them and get really excited about them, and then they nerf them, and that kind of becomes its own big, like, internal community event where people are like, this did need to be nerfed, or they did need to be nerfed, and I don't know. Sometimes I think it's legitimate, like Mercy in Overwatch. Like, I think that was something where they just did not react fast enough when it was clearly a problem just based on statistics.
Lasted for so long.
What was going on?
Okay, so first of all, original Mercy had the like, you could do a 5-man or 6-man res if you get lucky, and they said it doesn't feel good for other players, so we're totally changing her. Now Resurrect is just her E ability, and so you can do that every 30 seconds. You can just resurrect one of your teammates every 30 seconds, and we're gonna change her ult to this thing that makes all of her other abilities good, including Resurrect. It makes it instant, so and refreshes it. So it turned out that her new ult had like a chain heal or chain damage deal, and you could fly around and you like couldn't be killed. You healed yourself really fast, and you could fly, and you could resurrect at least like 3 people throughout the course of your ult. So it was disgustingly overpowered. Like, it was impossible to do anything, and her pick rate was like 2 to 3 times as high as the next highest character.
That's wild.
It was just absolutely, it was one of the most broken characters in any game that I've ever seen in any like online competitive game. And they nerfed her now. It was like several nerfs. So because she was so good and because she was so necessary for so long, this lasted for 6 months. And there became like this gigantic group of Mercy mains, people who only played Mercy. They would play Mercy, and there was a lot of them beforehand, but she got so good and she was so necessary that so many more people were just like, I am a Mercy main. I play Mercy every game. And so anytime they would suggest any nerf to her, tons of people would flood the forums and just be like, you're killing her. This is the worst decision. It's so stupid. She's going to be terrible. She's going to get killed by everything. Guess what? Never happened. She would always make them scared. The changes come on the PTR, and then they'd, okay, well, I don't know, or maybe we shouldn't do such a bad nerf. We don't want to piss off all the Mercy mains. So they nerfed her like 4 consecutive times, and it was never even close to enough. And finally, by the 4th time, like they just fucking hit her with a stick and hope that she stayed down. And I think it's okay now. I think it's okay. Like, you can finally even talk about other characters being overpowered because Mercy is in the realm of other players, and she's still one of the most played. So, and the thing is, it's at such a point where even if she did go down to, like, right after people were saying, oh, her win rate just dropped dramatically, like, and well, number one, it takes some getting used to because her kit changed, right? You can't use it the same way. Other people were saying they see Mercy players deliberately throwing in games because they're pissed about the changes.
That is ridiculous. Yeah, see, that's so absurd.
But the third thing is, like, would it be so unacceptable if she was below 50% on the win rate scale? Like, if she was, like, not in the top 50 percentile of heroes win rate, would that be so terrible? Because half the roster has spent the previous 6 months and beyond in low win rates. Like, it's hard to hear people bitch about it when some of your favorite heroes are sitting at, like, you know, they do a good job balancing overall. They do. But some of your favorite heroes hover near, like, 47% win rate, which is one of the lowest, you know, out of all the 23 characters or whatever. So it's funny to hear people say stuff like, oh, she's, like, worse than half the heroes. Oh, I feel so bad for you. Meanwhile, Hanzo is my favorite character, and he's, like, second worst.
Oh, don't talk about Hanzo. Everybody hates him for some reason, but yeah, everyone's like, oh my god, but you can't nerf Mercy.
So that was my little rant, but...
I was the one that brought it up, but yes.
Oh yeah, you'd at least like to see, like, it change, right? You know, that's how I feel. Is like, even if it's, like, broken in a different way, like, at least give us a new meta.
Yep.
And it got to the point where, I mean, I think a lot of people would have disagreed at the start of it, but it got to the point where it lasted so long that everybody pretty much agreed, like, oh my god, I'm sick of having to play Mercy every game. Even Mercy main's like, I'm sick of having to. Can't play any other
I'm tired of this. Yeah.
I'm sick of having to, and I want to stop.
Stop making me do this. Yeah. No, I
Mercy,
hear that.
please.
That's interesting. So yeah, I guess I haven't really been playing anything else, and I was the one that brought that up. I guess I did kind of want to talk about
Justin Timberlake.
Well, one of the things Keith and you and I were talking about, I had a minor bad experience with this, but I think each of us, the three of us, have had some bad experience with this in the past, and that is certain sites, the way that they handle self-promotion rules. And just to preface, I understand the reason they exist, because nobody wants to be spammed with, let's play Assassin's Creed Part 13. Like, I understand that. I understand that is why it exists. Okay, so let me just get that out of the way. And I'm just gonna open up the floor. I don't want to be the one that starts on this rant, but again, I know all three of us have experienced some sort of friction in the past with these types of rules.
Yeah, we've all dealt with it together, pretty much.
That's true. Yeah, that was.
It's like, I feel like I'm not gonna get any sympathy, but I don't know. Like, when we were talking about it, it's just like, we've all had our little, like, projects that we work on, like, if it's YouTube channels or if it's, like, sites or, you know, like, news sites in the past and things like that, and occasionally you want to post something, and it's, you know, it's like, I have personally been, like, excessive with it in the past because rules used to be lax, like, a long time ago. So and you're like, why wouldn't I do that? It's the only way that, like, anybody's going to see any of this stuff. So yeah, let's put it out there, and no one's complaining. Okay. And then after a while, like, and everybody is doing it, and after a while, like, they start putting more rules, and you're like, fine, that's reasonable. You know, that's reasonable. You know, we don't. I like Justin said, I totally understand why these exist. But I think the main friction that I've had with it is just, like, consistency of enforcing it and consistency of the rules. They'll say stuff like, oh, make sure, like, only, like, 10% of what you know, of your involvement on Reddit or something like that is self-promotion. It's different by subreddit. And you're like, okay, so you do that, and then it gets banned, and you're like, what gives? Like, or you like ask them and they say no, and you're like, well, there's like tons of stuff up on the front page all the time. Like, I'm trying to do it the right way. Should I just like post it in the dead of night behind your back, and because that's what everybody else does?
Because that's what other people do, and it works. Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're telling me no, or things like. You'll be like, well, I comment every day. Like I comment like several times a day because I, get in fights with people because I can't help it. Does that not count? And they'll be like, oh no, it has to be posts. And you're like, why? No, it's just stuff like that. That's where the friction comes for me.
Well, yeah. I had this experience recently where I made this Warcraft 3 video, and it was about custom campaigns, and I made a post that was like, look at how the Warcraft 3 scene manages to stay relevant through this type of content. Like, obviously, custom games, but this is a subset, and I've made, like, a short, informative video, and I felt that it was, again, I felt it was informative, and it would start a discussion. And so the thing that I find interesting, first of all, I rarely post on Reddit at all. I comment, but I don't make posts. So when I do, of course, like, my ratio is not going to be good, but, like, I post, like, once every couple months usually, and some of them are, like, dog questions. So, I don't know, it's just kind of, you can kind of explain, like, very specifically exactly why these rules are really stupid and also really easy to get around. Because it was taken down, and I said, I'm not trying to get this put back up because, I've learned arguing with the administration or mods is just completely fruitless. Like, there's absolutely no point to it. But they're like, because I said I'm below the 10% Reddit rules where it says that it should be 10% of your posts and conversation. And then one of the mods just responded to me. He's like, oh, you're at 30%. And I responded, I said, no, I'm not. I'm definitely not. He's like, oh, well, we only count posts. That's kind of like what you said earlier. Like, it's completely arbitrary. And so I responded, and I said, and I basically, again, I kind of like the argument for no reason. And I said, again, this is pedantic of me, but frankly, like, all I have to do is ask someone to post this. Is that what you're telling me? I just need to go on my own Discord and say, hey, can someone post this on Reddit? And then they'll do it, and it would be fine. Alternatively, I could make stupid posts and ask Reddit or the dog subreddit until I'm below 10% and then post it again. Like, it's very easy to get around this for people that are very, very dedicated to want to get around it.
Yeah.
Which is the most frustrating part, because those are the people that they don't want spamming. Whereas someone like me, like, I'm willing to follow the rules, so like it shouldn't be as much of a problem. But the people that want to break the rules can very easily do it by getting around them, which is the most frustrating part.
Well, and presumably these rules are designed to prevent low quality content from flooding the pages, right?
Yeah.
So your solution to that is to have me post more low quality content so that I'm allowed to post my one fucking good thing that I actually wanted to post.
Yeah.
Like, if it gets, the other thing is, like, it's so easy. Things get upvoted, things get downvoted. I don't understand why that's not, like, if people like it and they upvote it, that's fine. Otherwise, no one ever sees it.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't seem like that big of an issue. I don't know.
I wonder, like, this might be a stretch, but I wonder how much of it has to do with generating content for their website versus generating content, like, that benefits you. So in doing that 10%, you're doing 90% content that basically benefits them.
Yeah, that's a good point. And they want you to pay for the advertising on the site, which nobody fucking cares about. Nobody uses.
Nobody wants to look at that.
I mean, people use it, but it's like when you use that, then it's like too obvious, I guess. Like, the whole point is, like, I'm posting to relevant places.
Yeah, it's not like you're advertising. It's a different thing. You're sharing your work.
Yeah. But
like,
again, like, I
people,
understand
like,
their reasoning to an extent. Like, they don't want people who, like, there's so much junk out there. Like, again, nobody wants to see part 18 of your Let's Play, no matter how big your channel is. So I get that, but it's kind of like, this is why we can't have nice things, I suppose.
It's
but
like
yeah,
you can't make something web-based, but if you make a painting of a painting, if you draw a painting, you can post it on Reddit, no problem. It's not considered self-promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, because even in the rules, it's like, it doesn't matter if it's not monetized. It doesn't matter how much time you spent on making it. And I just thought, like, you're really going out of your way here to stop people from doing this. And I think it really just comes down to wanting people to pay for it. And it's, I'm using Reddit as an example because we've had experiences in the past with them, with this being an issue. And again, like, I hate to be like, oh, well, not me. Like, I'm not the problem. But at the same time, like, I can very explicitly show, like, how I typically meet the rules. And I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just very silly.
And it just, I don't know. And it's like, it's just, if you find the rules to be unreasonable or something like that, I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like the incentives aren't in the right place, because I find that the more you try to play it the right way and like talk to the moderators, and I just feel like the worse it ends up being for you.
Oh yeah,
the
absolutely.
more attention that it draws to you, and I don't know, it just like doesn't really encourage you to do that, to do it the right way. But I have like one more story that's specific to Reddit that I just want to tell. But so I remember it was a long time ago. We were doing like a charity stream, not monetized, and we were trying to get like we were streaming, trying to get donations for Child's Play, and so I was like, I wanted to post that. I understand, like maybe they, probably around this time of year. This is a long time ago. It was actually like it wasn't super common back then, but you probably get tons of links to people's Twitch streams or something like that. But they were like, no, you can't post it, but you're welcome to buy an advertisement. And
yeah, they said that to me. Yeah.
I was like, okay, like I'm gonna buy an advertisement for what? I'm not selling anything. To like watch a Twitch stream, I'll post an ad. And I did. I was like, well, let's just see. So I like paid. I threw like $100 into a campaign, because it was only like supposed to be for a day or something.
And this is for a charity, just to remind everybody.
It was like throwing it into the wind. I would have been much better served to just turn around and like donate the money to the thing that we were doing, because I literally got 2 views. 2. Meanwhile, if you just post something on Reddit or something, you could get 1,000 if you're lucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not an alternative. And it just reinforces, like, Brett mentioned something where sometimes it seems like it's less about trying to preserve good content and who they think they can squeeze.
Yep. I agree. Well, I just wanted to share that because I was kind of irritated, especially when I read the rules again, and they're like, we don't care. Like, it specifically says, like, we don't care if you're not selling anything, if nothing's monetized. I'm like, then it's not really even self-promotion. Like, basically they're saying anybody who tries to self-promote is a spammer and attention whore, and you have to be below this. I don't know. There's no point in, I guess, rehashing it, but basically, yeah, they want to use they want you to use the advertising. But I also remember there was someone put something on our videos, and they're just like, hey, so I bought up votes for this. I'm on the top page now. It was really easy. It was really cheap too. So I just want to let everyone know that you could do this. And it was on the top of our videos for like a day, and I'm not sure if they removed it or not, but I just remember it was like, what's the point of having the rules if you can't even really enforce them properly like that? So
Yeah. That's disgusting.
And meanwhile, the top of like, I AMA or IAMA or whatever, like every single day is like, I created a business to ship things straight to your door and turned it into a profitable company in just 2 months, and like it's just and I'm like, okay,
yep,
sure, yep, that's fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, in either case, just as if you were purchasing the advertisement, it feels like pissing into the wind to even complain about it. But I just wanted to share my story and just how stupid the whole experience was. I'm like, I've been doing this for 4 years. I very rarely post to Reddit, and when I do, it's in the StarCraft subreddit, surprisingly, and they always are fine. So I'm like, oh, this is about games in general, so I'll put this about Warcraft 3. People like Warcraft 3, and I think people enjoy talking about the custom scene of Warcraft 3. Oh, well, I guess I can't do it because my username is the same as the name on YouTube. I guess I could just make a different Reddit account and post it. What about that? This is so stupid. It's so stupid. It makes no sense.
You actually could. You would get away with it.
Yeah. I didn't do that.
That's so stupid. It's like, It's just a weird thing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway, I just wanted to complain a little bit about that. So
Oh, yeah. It's been a while since I've
feel
played
good.
about that for sure.
I remember when we worked for that game blog a while ago. It was an issue then as well, and it was pretty much the exact same issue. So like that people keep complaining about this and they just don't do anything. So
Yeah, it's just frustrating.
yeah. The other thing I wanted to bring up, I've been playing Command and Conquer, and I gotta say, not the most well-designed of games. I'm playing Command and Conquer Generals because I put a poll up on my channel, and everyone's like, "You should play Command and Conquer. It's a game from my childhood." And like, yeah, it's fine, but like, there's times when I play certain games, and I just want to know if you guys can sympathize with this, where something just seems off, and my first thought isn't, this game is bad. That's never really my first thought. My first thought is, do I not understand this? Like, am I just doing something wrong? And that's what I've been thinking as I've been playing through this. And like, I know it's also an old game, but I keep just thinking like, I must just not be playing this right, because this is just extremely tedious. I don't know. Have you guys had an experience like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. And in particular, like, I don't know, you play certain games and you just you play certain games and you just you're like you feel like you're terrible at it or something. You feel like you have to look up. There's those games that you have to put in your research, and that's not inherently wrong. Like that's part of the fun for certain games is like research and planning and stuff. If it's like complicated and difficult enough that you have to do that, but what I don't like is in certain games where there seems to be one unambiguous best way of doing something, and if you don't do it, you're going to be terrible. And if you do, you'll be fine. But there's no other way to play, and it sort of robs the game of some of the mystery. And I found that a little bit, and this might be a little bit controversial, but with Darkest Dungeon. And with FTL, both very difficult games that it seems like there is exactly one correct way to play them. I mean, you could get by, I think, in Darkest Dungeon with a couple other builds, but there's a couple builds that are just absolutely amazing and a lot of bad ones. And with all of the variety they have in that game, it sucks that that it's that way, because and the same with FTL, there's a lot of variety, but like, yep, you should get mantises. You should board everybody else's ship. You get the most resources that way. Towards the end of the game, make sure you got a gun so you can beat the final boss. That's about it. That's the way that you play the game.
Yep. And if you don't get lucky and find mantises, and you don't get a cheap boarding teleporter thing early on, or then you're not going to be able to save enough money to get good enough weapons to destroy the final boss. And it's just like, you make it halfway through the game and you know there's no way you can succeed.
Yep. That game's annoying.
But that's one of those situations where it's highly lauded. Everybody seems to like it, or people have good things to say about it. But then when you pick it up, my first thought is typically like, I must not be doing this right, because like so many people have said so many good things again about Command and Conquer, for example, and the only thing I can think of is like, again, either I'm completely misunderstanding this, or there's some design flaws here. And
it's just an RTS, isn't it?
It's an RTS, and I think there's just aspects to it that make it feel tedious, and that's why I keep questioning, like, maybe I'm just doing it wrong. And I finally came to the conclusion that if you even have to ask that question, then there's a problem with the game. I shouldn't even have to wonder.
Yeah.
You just need to get good.
Exactly, right. That's always the best response to someone who's struggling with a game.
Seriously, though. Get good. No, but...
do it right now.
Get better at it at this
Are you
moment.
committed to the series? Like, did you make a playlist already on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna finish it. I see it as kind of a challenge, and I'm not struggling to complete it. I just don't really. I just think that it's not that great. I mean, but it makes me wonder. The people who really enjoy it, of course, played it a long time ago originally, and then it made me wonder. I'm like, what if I never played Warcraft 3? and I played Command & Conquer. And then I made a channel that was Command & Conquer related. First of all, I never would have grown at all if I had a Command & Conquer related channel. Second of all, more importantly, pretend that happened, and then everyone's like, you need to play Warcraft 3. I wonder if I then picked up Warcraft 3 and was like, this game isn't very good. There's like some design flaws to it. I don't know. And it made me wonder if that's been the effect that's been happening.
The world may never know.
Exactly. How can you even test that?
Catch up with you. You have to keep playing and see if it catches on for you.
Brett, did you play Warcraft, like the original Warcraft 3?
No.
You can do it. You can be our control experiment.
How? Oh, I thought maybe it was like free or something.
I'll get it for you if you will participate in this.
Oh man, what would I have to do?
You'd have to play it.
Oof. Man, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know, man.
It's like, that sounds great on paper. I just don't know if I can commit to it. Can you actually get it on BattlEye? Or whatever this is called? Blizzard launcher?
No, it's not on the Blizzard launcher, but it is compatible with Windows 10, so.
Oh, that's good news. Oh, wait, I see it here. Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos, and the Frozen Throne.
That's it, dog.
That's it?
I mean,
I
that's
watched
the game.
your YouTube Let's Play. I saw part of it.
Oh, look at that. Did you think it looked not fun?
Yeah, kinda. I mean,
I enjoyed it, but I don't think I would now.
I think knowing that Dota originated from it in some way or another would make me enjoy the game a bit.
Be like, oh, I recognize that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is typically most people's reaction if they play Dota, but not really the original game in any other fashion.
I bet it's fun though. I don't know. I'll think about it.
I
That
just
could be a
just
fun
need this
little video
answered. I just find
series.
it interesting. But I feel like, especially because I play a lot of user-made stuff, that's my response a lot as well. And I don't really voice it a lot because I don't like being like, this is bad. Because I never like to assume like this is clearly bad. And I've tried occasionally in the past where I'd be like, this doesn't sit right with me, and then I get the responses like, you're just not playing it right. You just didn't do it the right way. And I just think, well, then that still means that it's not very well designed. That's what that means.
Typically, yeah. Maybe you are just a bad gamer though.
I know. I think I'm just bad, guys.
Are you nervous? I'm pretty sure I am a bad gamer.
I know. I'm a very lazy gamer too, but that's also because like I don't really have the will or stamina to go through like mounds and mounds of guides anymore. I just can't do that anymore.
Yeah, guides. I still have a bunch of them. I don't know.
I can, but I need to like
any
work
of them.
up to it. Like I'll see a game once and oh, that looks kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll see it again and I'll be like, huh, maybe I'll play it eventually. And I'll see it again and I'll be like, I think like eventually I'll probably play that. And then one day I won't even have the game and I'll pick it up and I'll read every single like thing about it. And then I'll go out and get it and just be like totally ready to
Rumble.
Ready for my character build, planned out to the T.
And see, I get that because that means that the game looks intriguing to you. Like that's kind of the key thing there. Like you have to be attracted to the game in the first place, and then you can like look up all this stuff. I think Darkest Dungeon was kind of that way for me. I've started and stopped that game so many times because anytime I watch someone play it, I'm like, this looks so great. This looks so fun. And then I take the time to actually play it, and then I never follow through because I realize that I don't actually like playing it that much.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like I must be doing something wrong. My playstyle just isn't good enough to beat this game, I guess.
I think the PUBG game for me is that exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It like looks fun, and everybody's experiences seem so great with it. I just hate playing it. I like, even if I'm doing well, I just feel like anxious the whole time. I'm like, oh, when am I gonna get hit?
Yeah, I think like
so loud that,
StarCraft
like,
1v1, like watching professionals play versus playing yourself is a great example where it's like you like watching other people play it, but it's like stressful and not that fun to play yourself a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. It's too much.
Yeah.
Me hurt.
Playing as Gray Man now and loving it.
Nice. How do you kill him? How do you counter him?
I don't know. It's just instantly good. Maybe it's just not a well-balanced game.
Well, I haven't been stopped, so...
Got him, Keith. Maybe it's just not a well-balanced game.
But that's okay. I feel like Here's the Storm is like their fuck it game.
They'll get to it. It's there. We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it when we finish all the other games.
Yeah, $1 million tournament next year, sure.
I like HOTS. I like to play some more. It's always just like, hey, I have a ton of free time. I guess I have nothing else to. Let's play some Heroes of the Storm. And then you do, and it's really fun. But you only do it when you're like, there's really nothing else to play right now. I guess I'll play some.
HOTS for HOTS. You get the HOTS for HOTS, Justin.
The HOTS.
Hots
You
for
get the
hot.
HOTS for HOTS.
Yes.
Yes. Cool.
Cool. That's all I can describe it as. The HOTS for HOTS. Brett, you should play it. Have you been playing Dota anymore?
No, I don't know when the last time I played that was.
Because you said you were talking to Freaky yesterday.
Oh, yeah. No, he just messaged me. We just chatted.
Freaky Friday?
Freak Man Jones.
Sorry, I shouldn't say his real name on air.
Say his first and last name. Do it.
First name Freaky, last name Man Jones.
Freak Man Jones. You know what? This actually brings up a semi-anecdote because we're kind of near the end, but
Okay.
especially after graduating university/college, it really makes apparent that you have to work to maintain relationships. Like, we were really good friends with Freaky, and just to give everyone some context, is the person we met playing Dota, but we got to know each other really well. And we talked all the time, and we played, like, stupid online games that, like, not Dota. Like, we played, like, online Monopoly together and stuff. It was really fun. Like, I feel like you make a friend. It was, like, an actual person that you talk to, not just someone that you talk to, like, type to in a chat room. And so that was cool. And but then I stopped playing Dota, and then we just, like, slowly stopped talking to him. And every so often, like, one of us would text the other person and just be like, hey, how's it going? We haven't talked for a while. And that's always nice. And just recently he reached out again, and anytime that happens, it just makes me remember, like, man, you just need to reach out to people you haven't talked to for a while. Like, every so often you kind of remember, you're like, hey, this is a person I haven't talked to for a while.
Yeah, you just gotta do it.
Yeah, you just gotta do it. I mean, unless it's someone who clearly, like, you've moved away from for a particular reason. Also, there are people out there who, just make zero effort themselves. That's different as well. Where you just have to kind of determine, like, is this person worth the effort at times? Because it's like they just make no attempt to, talk to me. But anyway, it's rarely that. It's just you have to put effort into it. And I don't know. I just feel like, especially at this point in my life, that's become more and more apparent.
I think that's a good lesson, because even if it's a thing where we all have friends, like, if you didn't set up with anything with them, you just never hear from them again.
Yep.
And that's not a great attribute, but it's also, like, it doesn't mean that, like, that they're not friends with you or something. Like, some people do that, and you think sometimes, you're like, oh man, like, I haven't heard from them. They haven't even, like, reached out to me in a long time, and, like, oh, what the hell? But you haven't too. You haven't either. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
I've had people get, like, mad at me or something. They'd be like, I haven't heard from you in, like, whenever. Like, we went off, and you're like, what? I didn't hear from you.
Yeah, exactly. It's a two-way street.
shit.
It's just, I think that's the problem, is both people kind of go through that cycle where they're like, well, you kind of think you kind of guilt yourself into being like, oh, I haven't talked to this person for a while. And then you kind of just think, like, well, I mean, yeah, but they never reach out to me. And then you just don't reach out at all. Nobody does. It's just like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So just be the one, you know.
Yeah.
Be
It's
the
worth doing it
one.
at least once, just and see if it's reignites the relationship you had.
Yeah, be the one at least once.
Be the one at least once.
I love that. Jay Barino's podcast. What a sage message to close out on.
It is.
I'm
Be the one at least
to
once.
not reach out, so I hope that you guys will reach out too.
I mean, not to me. I'm talking to viewers here. Don't reach out
never
to me.
talk to you guys.
Reach out to someone from your past that you think, there's really no reason that we stopped talking.
Oh,
we
your
just
heart.
not gonna stop talking. It's never too late. It could be 5 years later.
Yeah.
Just do it. See what happens.
And hey, while you're at it, ask that girl to dance too, you know?
You also run the risk. Let me just clarify. You also run a risk of you reaching out to someone and then being like, "Oh my God, it's great to hear from you. I've learned how to make $800 a week by selling knives." And then you have to you have to go through that situation. So you
Let's
do
be
run a
real.
risk. I'm not gonna lie.
If someone reaches out, if someone you haven't heard from in a long time, especially if you were never like really good friends, but even sometimes if you were, if they reach out to you out of nowhere, there's a 50% chance they're in a pyramid scheme.
Yes.
There's a decent chance that somehow they've gotten to well into their 20s and beyond, and like somehow didn't learn what a pyramid scheme was.
And just think,
like
you could be
willfully
that
ignorant.
person who messages someone out of the blue, and they're going to think, "Oh God, such and such is in a pyramid scheme," and you can prove them wrong. They'll come away thinking like, "Wow, what a good dude or
Always gonna be
lady
a
for
pleasant
reaching out."
surprise.
Yeah, you could be that person. I'm not trying to be super preachy. I'm just saying, like, I recently experienced this, and I just wanted to share it because every so often I'm like, yeah, I'd love to talk to Freaky. I don't know, why did we stop talking? It's because we stopped playing Dota, but it's just, you got to put that effort in sometimes.
Dude, amen, dude.
Amen.
You're right. I like it. Thanks
I mean,
for the
Brett, maybe
inspiration.
we could stop talking. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Just like
Look,
back off, okay?
Just like back off. I've
God,
already
it's
seen
like
you
you're in
once
love
this-
with me.
Oh man.
Well, I think we're pretty close. I mean, I wonder how many.
How many minutes we've gone?
Well, no, we're near the end. I was gonna say how many episodes we're at, because I think we're close to 100, and we keep being like, we should do such and such for episode 100, and we don't actually have like a real plan for it. So maybe we just don't do anything special. People will expect something special, but it'll be
Special
just a
things.
normal DPS.
I'm
The-
googling it right now.
same
How many
game.
episodes of the DPS podcast are there? Shit, no results. No. Oh wait, wow, this goes backwards. Okay, we're on 90. This is 96 right now. Did we do an episode 0 or something?
I don't think so.
Why is there 96 videos in this 95 episode playlist? Jay Barino. I'm gonna figure it
Because of
out.
the packs. We did win at packs. That wasn't numbered. I
Oh.
should have numbered it. It's my fault. What was I thinking?
How many views does the DPS podcast breaking up video have? Yeah, of course it's yeah.
What?
You suckers. You suckers. It has a lot more views than the other ones. DPS podcast breaking up? Question mark? Question mark? Ah,
Clickbait.
That's a lesson. It's like, it's funny. Occasionally we'll do something clickbaity as a joke, and then it gets like way more views, and we're like, God damn it.
I know, yeah. Motherfuckers.
Baited. Oh, man.
There's always the people, they're like, I hate clickbait. Yeah, but you still click on it.
It's
still
the
watch
comment
it.
on the video of you being baited into it.
Yeah. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Exactly.
Hate yourself for clicking on it.
Hate yourself.
That's the lesson. Hate yourself.
No.
Well, let's go. I think we call it to a close today. Thanks, everyone, for watching. You guys have any closing words? Any final words?
Whatever you do, be yourself. Ugh.
Ah! He's right. Be yourself. Unless you are an unlikable person, then attempt to be someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that simple.
Pay attention to the way that people receive you.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with not being yourself if yourself is bad.
Understand some basic social cues, apply them to situations that you're in, and then make the decision on whether you should change or not. And many times the answer is you do not need to. I think is the bottom.
We're gonna be the best dads ever.
Just
You might
interpreting
be a
for Brett here.
sociopath. You don't know. A lot of times they don't know.
Well, with that, this is the Damage Per Second podcast. We're signing out. We'll see you next week.
99.
I guess.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time
This fucking video.
on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays?
Oh wait, hey, I wanted to say something.
Yes.
So I was like just half-assed playing Greymane. My very first action was to like walk into the enemy turrets and just get killed by a guy in a turret. MVP. It's like probably my first MVP ever in this game.
Nice.
Playing Greymane the first time, half-heartedly, while on this podcast, and I think he's just really, really good character. He seems disgusting.
Nice. Good to know. Well, now, Damage Per Second
going
podcast signing
on
out.
in chat?
Greymane is a
In
good
chat.
character. Reach out to your old friends. We'll see you next time.
Bye.